Hey guys, welcome to today's video. We are here for a little follow-up video. About a month ago, I filmed beauty influencers' favorite makeup products. I will link that here if you want to check that out. But I asked several of my friends to give me their favorite makeup product in a category. I purchased some of them. I had some of them. I created a full face and I've still been testing them. I have been testing them out, so I wanted to give you like a little follow-up style of video, and I am going to rank these makeup products. I am going to rank my friends' favorites. If you're new here, hello and welcome. My name is Kelly and I love all things makeup and beauty. I love talking, I love makeup, I love talking about makeup. So if you like to chat about makeup too, I would love to have you subscribe and be part of the K-Bella fam. But why don't we go ahead and jump into the video. I have 13 makeup items here. I ranked them from 13 to 1, and you know, take it with a grain of salt. I'm sure these could be moved around, but it's like a full face, right? So I'm ranking like blush products against setting spray against lipsticks. So I mean, listen, take it with a grain of salt, okay? But in the 13th category, in the lowest spot, is this makeup spray right here. This is the Revolution Conceal and Define Ignite Mattifying Setting Spray. Amanda Z is the one who recommended this setting spray to me, and I don't think that it's necessarily a bad setting spray. It is definitely a setting spray that is mattifying. It does say 16-hour long wear. Amanda said this is one that will like lock in your makeup, but when I look for a setting spray, I typically use my MAC Fix Plus, and I'm looking for more of a hydrating setting spray because I do have very dry skin. So I have used this a couple times. I think that it's fine, but it doesn't really provide any hydration. I would definitely say it is more of a mattifying setting spray. So because of that, that's why it's in the 13th spot. I do like the fact that this, I want to say, was like around the $10 mark. So definitely less expensive than my MAC Fix Plus, which I think is now like $30 or something like that. So more affordable. You can find this at Ulta if you are someone who has more of an oily skin type, or if I was going to a special event and I really wanted to lock in my makeup, I would reach for this. So if you are someone with oily skin or you have a special event, this may be what you're looking for. But for a day today, it's not what I'm looking for. In the 12th spot is this mascara right here. This is the Lash Prototype from Make Beauty. Hannah Louise Poston was the one that recommended this to me. I did have to purchase it from the Make website, and I have to say, I think it's great for my lower lash line. I don't think it's great for my top lashes. I look for something that is more voluminous. I typically go in with two mascaras. The mascara combo that I have on right now is actually, first I go in with the Monsieur Big from Lancome, and then I follow it up with the Roller Lash from Benefit. This one right here, I really liked it for the lower lash line, but I didn't find that it gave me much in the sense of volume. It was more lengthening and it didn't really provide quite the volume that I wanted. So I'm gonna continue to use it more so on the lower lashes. I feel like it's silly to have like a lower lash mascara, but because I have this in my collection, I will use it for that. But I don't think that this is one that I would repurchase. In the number 11 spot is this foundation from Kokie Cosmetics. It's the HD foundation. This is in the shade 20W, which I do think is a great shade match for me. Kelly Gooch was the one who recommended this to me, and we are a similar shade match also. Like I said, I do have dry skin, and I didn't find this to be like not hydrating, but I wouldn't call it like a hydrating or dewy foundation. On the back, it says mid coverage, which I would say it does give me more of like a mid to full coverage type of feel. Natural finish, foundation that offers flawless high def perfection in every light. So I would say you don't get any kind of like dew or hydration from this foundation, which I typically prefer. I would say it does give me more of like a natural finish, but it gives me that like mid to full coverage natural finish. I can see why it's saying like high def perfection, because it does give you more of like a perfected look, but it feels heavier on the skin. I prefer something that's a little bit more like light to medium coverage with a dewy finish or a satin finish. The foundation that I'm wearing today is the Armani Luminous Silk, which I love. I feel like it does give me like that dew and that hydration without feeling heavy. This one, I felt like I could feel it on the skin. So even in the summer, I live in Texas, even in the humidity, it still felt a little bit heavier on the skin. I'm gonna continue to use it. It was a great shade match. I think that this would be good maybe for like date nights or for special occasions, not necessarily for an everyday for me though. In the 10th spot was powder, and I reached out to my friend Amanda, Makeup Just for Fun, for her powder recommendation because she has dry skin also, and she recommended the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish. Now, I got Light Plus. She said she got medium, and I thought that I ordered medium. Honestly, why can I not open this? I thought that I ordered the medium shade, and then when it came, it was Light Plus, which is fine. Now, this, I don't typically use it to set underneath my eyes, although you could. I use it more so as like an all-over setting powder, which I don't typically do. Having dry skin, I like a loose setting powder underneath my eyes, but I do find that when I'm using cream products that we're going to get to in a minute, this is helpful because I can go over those cream products in the summer months. I can help make this transfer proof by kind of going over the outer rim of my face. I don't typically go in the center of my face, again, dry skin, but I like this for a powder in setting my face. I just find that like I don't often set my entire face, if you know what I mean. So that's why this is coming in the 10th spot. I think it's a great like natural finish powder where it's not going to mattify, it's not going to make me feel dry and cakey, but just for my typical like day-to-day makeup preference, I'm not going to set all over my face, if you know what I mean. So good powder, but it's only going to get love here and there for me. In the 9th spot, my friend Linda recommended a primer, and she recommended the Auric Glow Lust, which is one of the few products that I already had in my collection. I have the shade Morganite. She recommended this as a primer. You can totally go in and use this all over your whole face as a primer. It is also technically supposed to be marketed as like a luminizer, like a cream highlighter type of product. I don't use it for that, but how I typically use it is one, I will mix it in with a foundation. So I did mix these two together to give the Kokie a little bit more of a luminous finish. Or how I used it today is I just went in before I put my foundation on in like the high points of my face to give a little extra glow. I think this is a fine product. This isn't typically a product that I reach for often. Like I have to make myself reach for it. So when I use this up, I don't know that I would necessarily repurchase it because it just feels pointless to me. I'm still gonna go in with a powder highlighter. I just don't, it feels like an extra step, I should say. It feels like an extra step. This is called a Radiant Luminizer. Now I did see that they just came out with a travel size version. So this is the full size. I would be more apt if I ever did repurchase this down the line to get the travel size because I don't need like, it's an extra step. I don't need such a large bottle. I don't think it's a bad product. It's just not my favorite, but this was already in my collection. I'm going to continue to use it. Like I said, I have the shade Morganite. I had Selenite first. Selenite was a little bit deeper. Morganite is a little bit more of a brighter, lighter shade for me. So I personally like the Morganite shade if you're going to get this. In the 8th spot, my friend Simbri recommended a blush, and she recommended the Westman Atelier Coquette blush. I don't know how you say it. It is a cream product, and it's a beautiful shade. I don't love creams. Creams are not for me because I feel like I overblend them. I blend them out. You get like when you go in just like this, you get foundation on it, so I'm constantly trying to wipe it off. I don't know that I necessarily like going in with a brush either, so creams are a little bit tricky to me. I do like this shade. I do have it on today, but I have another blush over it. I have the Dior blush on the apples of my cheeks, but this I do have like all over as well. I don't find that this one blends away completely, but I mean it is a cream product. So I'm gonna use it. It's fine. I like the shade. I think the packaging is exquisite. I've been wanting to try Westman Atelier, but creams themselves are not my favorite. I do think this is a good product though, so if you love creams, I think this is a great shade, and I do think that it really stands up and holds up on the face. In the 7th spot is the eyeshadow palette, and this was a collaboration between my friend Heather Austin and Unearthly Cosmetics. This is the Resurgence palette. This is what it looks like here. I do have a full video on this entire collection. I think the quality of these shadows are great. The reason why this is coming in the number 7th spot is simply the color story. I am not typically this colorful. Okay, Heather is this colorful. Beautiful, beautiful looks. I love everything about her color combination here because I feel like it definitely describes her. The other thing that I think is cool about this palette is you can mix the shades to make them lighter. Like you could mix Life and Ancient to get a little bit of a lighter berry shade. You can mix Nymph and Cosmology to get a purple shade. I think these shimmers are absolute standouts. The duochromes, they're so shifty. They're very pigmented. You can apply them with your finger or a brush. And I just think the quality is amazing. That's why it is in the number 7 spot and not higher. It's just the color story isn't my favorite color story. I do appreciate this Cerambus shade here. I feel like it gives me more of a neutral vibe. I can reach into Cerambus and go in with any of the shimmer shades to create more of a toned down look. But I'm so happy for Heather. This is such a beautiful palette. I do really enjoy it. I'm going to use it in my collection. I think I'm going to do a palette bingo with it to kind of get myself outside of my comfort zone. I'm boring. I like more of a neutral color story, so that is the only reason why this is not lower on the list, because I think the quality is amazing. In the number 6 spot, I asked Lauren May Beauty to recommend a bronzer to me, and she recommended this NARS bronzing cream in the shade Laguna. She recommended 01. I ended up going with 02. I think 01 would have been fine, but 02 is also fine for me. I do typically go in with a brush, put this on the cheeks. I have it on my cheeks today underneath a powder bronzer, but I feel like the 02 shade gives me enough pigment that I don't necessarily have to go in with a powder bronzer on top. I just prefer to kind of set the cream down. I do think this is a fine product. I do get good pigmentation, blendability. I find that I don't overblend. Again, I'm just not a huge fan of creams, so that's why this is coming in the number 6 spot. I'm going to continue to use it underneath my powders. I like it well enough. I'm just not a huge fan of creams. Number 5, I am following it up with the Tarte Park Avenue Princess Powder Bronzer. It's not the bronzer that I'm wearing today. I have mine in this palette right here. This is the bronzer. It was recommended to me from my friend Molly, or Makeup Molly. I like this bronzer because it has a little bit of a sheen to it. It's not a flat matte bronzer. I don't know if it's supposed to be marketed as a matte bronzer, to be honest. Like I said, I just have mine in this palette, but there is a little bit of a sheen to it. I felt like there was a gold overlay on top. Now that I've used this several times, I don't see any more of like the gold specks, but I do get a nice hydrated sheen when I use this bronzer. It's a good bronzer. If I had it standalone, I might use it more, but because it's in this palette, I often have to like remind myself to pull it out, but I like it. It's a good bronzer. I like a nice luminous look to my cheeks. I don't want a flat matte. I like to be luminous and glowy and dewy, so this is in the number 5 spot. In the number 4 spot is my eye primer, which was recommended to me from my friend Karen Harris. This is the Sigma eyeshadow base primer in the shade Ignite. I like this primer because it is a stick. I can just tap it on the eye and blend it out with my finger. It's nice and creamy. It does give me some pigmentation to the lid, which I find to be helpful. If you want your shadows to be more vibrant, it's nice to have kind of a pigmented base to do that. My only downfall with this is I wish it was a little bit lighter. I think Ignite is the lightest shade, but it definitely pulls very yellow for me, and I just wish it was a tad lighter. That's it. It's creamy, it's blendable, it's smooth, it's what I'm using every day for my eyeshadow primer base. I really do enjoy it. I just wish I had a lighter shade. In the number 3 spot, my friend Angie, or Angelica Nyqvist, recommended this highlighter right here. This is the REM Beauty Miss Mercury highlighter. It is a powder highlighter. She gave me a cream option also, but like I said, I'm a powder girl. I do have the highlighter on today. The thing that I love about this highlighter and why it's coming in the number 3 spot is because it gives me a nice sheen, but there are no specks of glitter. There are no chunks of glitter, but I still like a very bright highlight. I'm not looking for subtle. I'm not looking for toned down. I like a bright highlight, so I feel like I do have a nice bright highlighted cheek, but it's not stripy. There are no chunks of glitter, and it just really illuminates my face, which I love. Number 2 is a concealer. This was a recommendation from Morgan Turner, and it is the Pat McGrath concealer. This is technically called the Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Concealer. I have the shade L5. I wish I had L4. I don't know why I got L5. I had this and used it up completely, and I'm pretty sure I had the shade L4. For whatever reason, when I repurchased it, I picked up L5, okay? This is the concealer that I already had in my collection. I love it because it definitely gives you high pigment, but it's creamy. It's not too heavy underneath my eyes. I'm 35, I have fine lines. I definitely have discoloration, so it's going to cover up the discoloration. It's going to give me the pigment that I need, but it's also creamy enough that I'm able to blend it out, and it's not gonna settle too much into those fine lines. And in the top spot, number 1 was a recommendation from Samantha March. It is the lip combo. It's not the lip combo I'm wearing right now because I filmed another video before this, but if you go back to that video, you can see this lip combo. It is the Charlotte Tilbury lip liner in Iconic Nude mixed with the Charlotte Tilbury lipstick in Very Victoria. Samantha March definitely was my inspiration in making these 2 purchases. I purchased them a while ago. I didn't purchase them for the video, but Sam has talked about these 2 products for years. So I've had Iconic Nude for a couple years. I think I got Very Victoria recently during a Sephora VIB sale. And then she recommended her collab with Ofra Cosmetics for the lip gloss in the shade Queen for Aries. And I don't have lip gloss on right now. So I'm going to tap a little on here and take my finger and just kind of give myself some gloss. And then I always wipe the lipstick off on my hand. But this gloss was named for her dog Aries. You can see it does give you a nice, beautiful shine. I like that this color is not too opaque. You definitely do get like a bronzed hue to it, but the lip combo that I have on underneath is, sorry, I'm trying to blend it out here. I do have the, I do have the Charlotte Tilbury lip liner in Iconic Nude, but the lipstick I have is Blush Nude from Tom Ford. So taking this, putting it over the top, it gives me a nice hydrated look. I like it because you can kind of see glitter flecks or shimmer flecks in here, but it doesn't feel gritty on the lips. I don't like a gritty lipstick. So that lip combo is coming in the top spot. But that's gonna do it for this video, ranking my friends' favorite makeup products. Of course, these are all their top favorites. I did ask them for their top favorites. This is just like my style of ranking, letting you know my preferences mixed with their favorites and giving you a little bit of a review. So huge thank you to all of my friends. I will have their channels listed down below, linking the product that they recommended to me. I just thought it would be fun to give you like my thoughts now that I've had a month to try them, and I thought it would be fun to rank them. So if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed before you go. That way I can see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.